Alright, so now we're going to go over the HMI pendant overview slide. The first button we're going to look at is the emergency stop button. That emergency stop button needs to be pressed in any emergency event. Please do not be afraid to press the emergency stop button. Relieving an emergency stop alarm is very simple. The second button we're going to look at is the function key. That is the FN key, also known as the enable motor hotkey. Whenever we turn the motors on, we want to select the gray FN button, then we're going to select enable motor, and then we're going to select cancel. After we select enable motor, you're going to notice that the enable motor selection box is going to turn blue in color, indicating the power has been turned on to the motors. The button below the FN key is the stop button. The main purpose of the stop button is to clear alarms. So when an alarm is present, we select the stop button to clear the alarm. You're going to notice that the red exclamation point in the top right of the pendant is going to turn from red to yellow, or is going to turn to a greenhouse after the red stop button has been pressed once an alarm is present. The stop key also is for stopping robot motions. To stop the robot automatic cycle, select the stop key once and the robot will stop. Also, the robot stop key is a shortcut to the main screen. We can be at any screen in the robot and we'll press the stop key and that'll divert us directly to the main screen. The stop button finally is also used as a calibration tool. To open the calibration tool, we want to hold the stop button for 15 seconds. After holding the stop button for 15 seconds, the calibration screen will pop up. We want to select the 4 targets with our fingers and then select the stop button again to clear the screen. After the screen has been cleared, the calibration has been complete. The next button we're going to talk about is the run button. The run button, we only press the run button when we're prompted to do so, and that is after we select the test run and auto run modes. The access lock switch is used to divert the robot user to level 0. So whenever the robot user is away from the robot, they may turn the switch to the opposition to lock it out. To change your level of access, you want to turn the key into the on position counterclockwise, then select the key and sign into your designated level of access. On the top edge of the robot pendant, to the left-hand side, we have the robot enable switch. That robot enable switch can be in 1 or 2 positions, either on or off. When the robot enable switch is in the on position, we are going to see the greenhouse on the upper right-hand side of the robot screen turn to a robot with a red line through it, indicating the robot is now off. When the robot is switched to off with the robot enable switch, the robot sends all the output enable signals to the injection molding machine, so the user can operate the injection molding machine without interfering with the robot. Think of this as a dummy plug. When the robot enable switch is in the opposition, it is as if a dummy plug is plugged into the interface of the machine. Switch on the robot enable switch to enable robot operation. To switch off the switch forces the robot to send all enable signals to the injection molding machine. If the operator needs to move the injection molding machine in manual or setup modes, the robot enable switch must be in the opposition. When we turn the switch to the opposition, we are going to see the 3 lights light up as we see below, ME, MS, and MC. If the switch is in the on position, we may not have all these lights present, which would prevent the user from moving the injection molding machine freely. To the right of the robot enable switch, we have a USB port. This USB port is used to upload and download programs to and from a thumb drive. If you look in the front of the screen, we have 6 indication lights. The first 3 lights are robot inputs that start with the letter L. LMD is IMM safety door, LMO is mold open, and LMC is mold close. Again, those are robot inputs. The last 3 signals, ME, MC, and MS, are robot outputs. ME is ejector enable, MC is mold close enable, and MS is cycle start enable. To operate the robot, we must have the LMD and LMO signals before we go into test run, indicating that our safety door is closed and our mold is in the open position. On the back side of the robot pendant, we have what we call a dead man switch. That dead man switch, we will press that down lightly when we are prompted to do so. This is a 2-stage switch, so when we press it lightly, we allow the motions to take place in the robot. If the switch is pressed too hard, then that will prevent us from moving. So we want to lightly press down the dead man switch and move the robot in manual. We also need to hold down the dead man switch when we're moving the robot in teach And finally, we need to hold down the dead man switch when the robot is in test run. All right, now we are going to go over the robot's main screen. From top to bottom, we're going to look in the upper left-hand corner. Wei Li, that's the robot manufacturer's name. We also have more robot information such as model number and serial number. The two icons next to the serial number indicate the communication system state. When we have good communication between motion controller and drives and robot and machine, the plug is going to turn green and that red X is going to go away and the communication line will turn green. Next to the communication system state, we have reset status. Before we reset the robot, those 4 blue arrows will be white with a red line through it, indicating to the robot user that the robot needs to be reset. After the robot has been successfully reset, those 4 white arrows with a red line will turn into 4 blue arrows like you see here. Next to the reset status icon, we have user level. The user level sub-icon is going to be either 0, 1, 2, 3, or level S. That indicates the level of access the user is currently signed into. Next to the key icon, we have our program name. And next to our program name, we have the greenhouse, indicating the robot is currently at its home position and it's standing by. Next to the greenhouse, we have the stop sign, indicating the robot status, which would indicate at this particular time that the robot is stop motion. Next to the stop sign, we have the current time on the robot. Below the time, we have our function tab, which houses all our robot settings. We have the monitoring tab, which is for input and output and spare monitoring coming to and from the injection molding machine. Below the monitoring tab, we have the manual tab, manual operation, and the manual tab houses The manual tab houses everything needed for manual operation of robot functions, such as axis motion and gripper and vacuum signals. The module program or program tab is for all stored robot programs. Here we can download and upload programs to and from thumb drives, save program as to change file names. We can also duplicate programs, rename programs, and delete programs. Below the Program tab, we have Modify, and Modify is for modifying existing programs that we currently have opened on the main screen. In the Modify tab, we can modify 3 settings per robot program line. We can increase, decrease delay times, increase, decrease speeds, and increase, decrease axis positions. On the left-hand side of the main screen, we have Program Info. We have the current program name. Below that, we have product counts, cycle counts, if we are running any sample parts, test parts, and any reject parts. In the center of the screen, we have the current program that is uploaded to the robot. Above the current program, we have the axis position. When the motor power is off for the robot, all axis positions will be yellow or white. When the motor power is enabled on the robot, the axis positions will turn white or green in color. The pneumatic axes will always be white, and so will the Y. At the bottom of the main screen, we have the Reset Robot button, which is only necessary when the reset status is 4 white arrows with a red line through it. The Go to Start Point, which allows the robot user to bring the robot to its start point or home the robot. The Cycle Stop button, which allows the robot user to stop the current auto run cycle. Then we have Test Run. Test Run is for test running new programs that have already been stepped through in the Teach program. Finally, we have Auto Run. Auto Run allows the robot user to start the auto run cycle.